It's not just inflation, it's not just summer pricing. The entire energy infrastructure of the West Coast is being quietly dismantled, piece by piece, and your bank account is the collateral damage. You pull up to the pump, you swipe your card, and you watch the dollar count spin faster than the gallons. It used to be an annoyance. Now, it feels like a financial penalty just for going to work. Gas prices were supposed to stabilize. We were told the supply chain issues were temporary. But in California, the trend is moving in the opposite direction. And for the first time in decades, the biggest players in the game, companies like Chevron and Phillips 66, are signaling a permanent exit. Refineries are shuttering, the supply chain is tightening, and the state is becoming what economists call an energy island, cut off from the rest of the country's cheap fuel supply. This isn't just about politics. It is about the brutal math of supply and demand breaking down. When the refining capacity drops, the buffer against price shocks disappears. And when the system wobbles, the cost doesn't fall on the corporations exiting the state. It falls on you. It falls on the nurse driving 40 miles to a shift. It falls on the plumber trying to keep his van on the road. It falls on the family deciding between a full tank of gas and a full cart of groceries. In this deep dive, we are not just looking at gas prices. We are walking through the 10 specific cities that are the canaries in the coal mine, the places feeling the squeeze first and hardest. These are the communities where the energy exodus is no longer a headline, but a daily crisis. But before we dive into the list, if you want to protect your money from the economic shifts the news won't tell you about, do yourself a favor and subscribe to Tax Hack Pro right now. We track the hidden costs eroding your wealth, from new taxes to broken supply chains, so you can stay prepared. Also, please like and share this video. It helps us get this crucial information to more people who are wondering why their paycheck doesn't go as far as it used to. Here are the 10 cities facing the brutal reality of California's energy exodus. Number 1. Los Angeles. What happens to a city built entirely around the automobile when driving becomes a luxury item? Los Angeles is finding out the hard way. This isn't just about traffic anymore. It is about the commuter tax that every resident pays just to exist here. The city's geography is massive, stretching from the coast to the valleys, making public transit a non-option for millions of workers. The recent news is devastating. The Phillips 66 refinery in Wilmington is set to close. To understand the scale of this, you have to look at the numbers. That facility alone pumped out nearly 140,000 barrels of fuel a day. That is roughly 8% of the state's total capacity vanishing. When that supply sits at zero, the market doesn't just adjust, it panics. The California blend of gasoline is a unique mandated formula that cannot be easily imported from Texas or Louisiana. When an LA refinery closes, there is no backup pipeline. In Los Angeles, this creates a compounding inflation. You pay a premium just to move, but look closer at the service economy. Contractors, delivery drivers, landscapers, and small businesses are quietly raising their rates, not to increase profit, but just to cover the fuel surcharges. It is an invisible inflation that touches everything. Your Uber ride costs more. Your grocery delivery fee spikes. The plumber charges an extra $50 just to show up. Los Angeles is the epicenter because it has the most drivers fighting for a shrinking pool of fuel. We are seeing a shift in behavior that changes the culture of the city. People are turning down social invitations because the drive from Santa Monica to Silver Lake costs too much in gas. Workers are rejecting job offers that require an on-site presence. The city that was defined by its freedom of movement is slowly becoming a collection of isolated neighborhoods, separated by a financial toll road that no one voted for. Number 2, San Diego. San Diego prides itself on a relaxed quality of life, sunshine, beaches, and a slower pace than LA. But geographically, it is in one of the most precarious positions in the American West. San Diego sits at the very end of the energy supply line. Unlike Los Angeles, which has, or had, significant local refining capacity, San Diego relies heavily on fuel being piped or trucked in from the north. This makes San Diego the tailpipe of the economy. When capacity tightens upstream in Los Angeles or the Bay Area due to a refinery closure or a Chevron pullback, San Diego feels the shockwave instantly. There is no buffer. The pipes run dry faster and prices spike harder. The human cost here is unique because of the city's demographics. San Diego is a military town. Thousands of enlisted families live here, often on tight, fixed budgets. The military housing allowance, BA, adjusts slowly, but gas prices move fast. We are seeing military spouses who work in the civilian sector quitting their jobs because the commute eats up their entire paycheck. Furthermore, San Diego has one of the highest sunshine taxes in the country. Housing is expensive. Electricity is expensive, SDG and E rates are among the highest in the nation, and now fuel is becoming prohibitive. It creates a cost of living trap. The geography that makes San Diego beautiful, tucked away in the corner of the country, also makes it vulnerable. When the state sneezes, San Diego catches a cold at the pump, and there is no neighbor to borrow fuel from. To the south is Mexico, to the east is the desert, to the west is the ocean. San Diego is economically besieged by its own location. Number 3, San Jose in Silicon Valley. You might think the land of Teslas, venture capital, and tech billionaires is immune to gas prices. You would be wrong. San Jose may be the capital of the electric vehicle, but it runs on an army of service workers who drive internal combustion engines. The technicians who fix the fiber optic cables, the plumbers who service the smart homes, the delivery drivers bringing Amazon packages, the teachers, the police officers. They cannot afford $80,000 EVS, and they certainly cannot afford to live in San Jose. They commute, they drive in from the Central Valley, from Tracy, from Stockton, battling the Altamont Pass every single day. Chevron's pullback in the refining squeeze are a direct hit to the operational costs of the valley. High incomes here mask the problem, but they don't solve it. When fuel costs rise, the cost of every service in the Bay Area rises with it. We are seeing a phenomenon known as service desertification. Service providers are starting to refuse jobs in the deep Bay Area because the drive isn't worth it. Why drive 2 hours into San Jose to fix a sink when you lose your profit margin at the gas pump? This is the quiet crisis of Silicon Valley. It's not the engineers who are suffering. It's the infrastructure of human labor that supports them. As gas prices stabilize at $5, $6 or higher, the commuter math stops working. Small businesses in San Jose are struggling to staff their shifts because employees are calculating that working a minimum wage job in the city actually costs them money once they fill up the tank. The wealth of the region can buy a lot of things, but it can't buy cheap fuel when the refineries shut down. Number 4, San Francisco. San Francisco is facing a unique existential problem: the hollowing out of its essential workforce. The people who keep the city functioning, nurses, police officers, firefighters, hospitality staff, have largely been priced out of living within the city limits for decades. They commute. They come from the East Bay, Vallejo, Fairfield, or even further out. As gas prices climb due to refinery constraints, these essential workers face a brutal math problem. Does the paycheck cover the commute plus the bridge tolls? Remember, San Francisco commuters get hit twice, once at the pump and once at the toll booth. A daily commute can easily cost $30 to $40 in direct expenses before a single hour of work is billed. We are seeing a slow attrition where workers turn down shifts or quit jobs in the city because the travel cost destroys the financial incentive. Hospitals are finding it harder to staff night shifts. Restaurants are closing early because line cooks can't afford the drive. San Francisco isn't just losing access to cheap gas, it is losing the ability to import its labor force. Chevron's headquarters move to Texas was a symbolic blow, but the real damage is the reduction in regional refining capacity. The Bay Area used to be a refining hub. As those facilities convert to renewable diesel or shut down entirely to avoid regulatory penalties, the local supply buffer vanishes. San Francisco is becoming a luxury island where only the very rich or the very subsidized can afford to move. For everyone else, the bridge is becoming a financial barrier that is too high to cross. Number 5, Sacramento. Sacramento is the seat of power where these energy policies are debated, but the residents are the ones paying the bill. There is a bitter irony here. The legislation signed in the Capitol building is directly increasing the cost of living for the people driving past it. Unlike the dense coastal cities, Sacramento is a sprawling region. It is not compact. State workers, families, and retirees commute from suburbs like Elk Grove, Roseville, Folsom, and Natomas. The public transit system is not robust enough to replace the car. For the thousands of government employees whose wages are set by fixed state contracts, gas isn't a variable expense, it's a fixed necessity. They don't get inflation adjustments every month when gas spikes. When prices jump, other spending stops. We are seeing a massive pullback in local economic activity because discretionary income is being poured into gas tanks. Restaurants in Midtown are emptier. Retail stores in the suburbs see less foot traffic. It is the disposable income drain. Furthermore, Sacramento sits in the Central Valley, where temperatures soar in the summer. Running the AC in the car burns more gas. It's a double whammy of climate and cost. The city of trees is becoming the city of fees, where the cost to drive to your government job eats away at the pension you are working toward. The disconnect between the policymakers and the daily commuters has never been starker than at the pump in Sacramento. Number 6, Riverside in the Inland Empire. If there is a ground zero for the gas price crisis, it is likely the Inland Empire, Riverside and San Bernardino counties. This region was sold to millions of families as the affordable alternative to LA. The deal was simple: drive a little longer, get a bigger house. Drive until you qualify. But that model is fundamentally broken when gas hits $5, $6, or $7 a gallon. The mortgage might be cheaper, but the transportation cost is catastrophic. Families here have some of the longest supercommutes in the nation, often driving 60 miles one way into Orange County or LA. For them, a refinery closure isn't corporate news. It is a direct pay cut of hundreds of dollars a month. But there is a second layer to Riverside's pain: logistics. Riverside is the warehousing and logistics heart of the West Coast. Thousands of 18-wheelers, delivery vans, and fleet vehicles operate here. It is the engine of the supply chain. When diesel and gas prices surge due to refinery issues, the entire local economy shudders. Small independent truckers, owner-operators, are being wiped out. They cannot absorb the fuel spikes when freight rates are low. This leads to consolidation, where only megacorporations survive, eventually raising prices on everything we buy. Riverside is trapped. It has the least flexibility to switch to transit, which is virtually non-existent for these commutes, and the highest exposure to fuel costs. The Inland Empire is becoming the inflation empire. Number 7. Fresno in the Central Valley. Driving isn't optional, it's survival. Things are spread out. You drive to the doctor, you drive to school, you drive to the fields. Fresno is the agricultural capital of the nation, but it is also a region of deep poverty and fixed incomes. Fresno residents often have significantly lower average incomes than the coast, meaning fuel takes a massive percentage of their monthly budget. A $100 fill-up in San Francisco is painful. A $100 fill-up in Fresno is a crisis. It means the utility bill doesn't get paid. It means cutting back on food quality. When supply tightens, Fresno has no buffer. There is no subway system to fall back on. Agricultural workers who travel from farm to farm are effectively paying a work tax. If it costs $20 in gas to get to a job that pays $100 a day, the incentive to work collapses. We are also seeing the impact on food prices. Agriculture relies on diesel and gas for tractors, transport, and pumps. As Fresno pays more for fuel, the cost of produce rises for the entire country, but the pain starts here. Fresno is a region of endurance, but the current energy landscape is testing the limits of what people can endure. The transition to green energy feels very distant when you can't afford the gas to get to the grocery store today. Number 8, Bakersfield. Bakersfield presents the ultimate economic paradox. This is oil country. You can see the pump jacks nodding in the fields from the highway. The local high school mascot is the driller. Yet, residents here are paying the same painful, inflated prices as the rest of the state. The frustration here is palpable. The resource is right under their feet, yet they are paying a premium to use it because of state regulations and refining constraints. But Bakersfield faces a double threat. Not only are gas prices high, but the industry providing the jobs is leaving. As major players like Chevron and Phillips 66 retreat from California's regulatory environment, Bakersfield faces job instability in the oil fields. These are high-paying, blue-collar jobs that support families. When a refinery closes in LA, it reduces demand for the crude oil produced in Kern County, so Bakersfield gets hit twice. High prices at the pump and pink slips at the job site. It creates a spiral of economic anxiety. Truckers, contractors, and field workers are watching their industry being dismantled in real time, while paying record prices to fill up their work trucks. It is a bitter pill to swallow for a city that has powered California for a century. Number 9, Benicia. Benicia is a refinery town. It understands better than anyone what it means when the industry contracts. With major facilities like the Valero refinery nearby and Phillips 66 closing its LA operations, the fear in towns like Benicia is total economic devastation. When a refinery cuts back or closes, it's not just about gas prices. High-paying union jobs, jobs that don't require a college degree but pay six figures, vanish overnight. These jobs support the local car dealerships, the local restaurants, and the local housing market. But beyond the jobs, the local tax base takes a massive hit. Refineries pay millions in local property taxes that fund Benicia's schools, fire departments, and parks. If that industry leaves, the tax burden shifts to the homeowners, or services get cut, and the cruel twist. The residents still have to pay the surging prices at the pump. It's a lose-lose-lose scenario. the local economy shrinks, the tax base crumbles, and the cost of living rises. Benicia serves as a stark warning of what the transition away from oil looks like for the blue-collar communities that built the energy infrastructure. They are being left behind with the cleanup bill and empty tanks. Number 10. Las Vegas, Nevada. Finally, we cross the state line to Las Vegas. You might ask, why is a Nevada city on this list? Because economically, Las Vegas is a colony of California. It is an energy island that depends almost entirely on the Calnev pipeline. This pipeline pumps gasoline and jet fuel from the Los Angeles refineries across the desert to Las Vegas. There is no other major source. When a refinery shuts down in Los Angeles, or when supply tightens in the Golden State, prices in Vegas spike almost immediately. Nevada imports California's inflation. The city runs on tourism, taxis, Ubers, and service workers who live far from the Strip in Henderson or North Las Vegas. Las Vegas has no control over its own fuel destiny. It is at the mercy of California's energy policies. When California shuts down refining capacity, Las Vegas feels the pain instantly. We are seeing service workers, waiters, blackjack dealers, maids, who rely on tips seeing their earnings vanish into their gas tanks. Taxis and Ubers are adding surcharges, discouraging tourists. The fragility of Las Vegas was exposed a few years ago when the pipeline had issues, but now the issue isn't a broken pipe, it's an empty pipe. As California produces less gas, Nevada has to fight harder for what remains, driving up prices in the desert and threatening the fragile recovery of the service economy. The message across these 10 cities is consistent and terrifying. The energy map of the West is being redrawn, and the cost is being passed down to the consumer. This isn't just about one company leaving, it's about a systemic shift. We are moving from a world of energy abundance to a world of energy scarcity, manufactured by policy and market exits. The refineries are closing. The companies are moving to Texas. And the residents of Los Angeles, San Diego, and Fresno are left holding the bag. The energy transition might be the goal, but the reality on the ground is an energy crisis for the working class. If you found this analysis helpful and want to stay ahead of the curve, please hit the like button and share this video. It really helps the channel grow and gets this truth out there. And don't forget to subscribe to Tax Hack Pro. We track the numbers, the laws, and the money so you don't become a statistic. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.